All right, welcome everyone to our daily analysis call in preparation for April 19th, 2017. Just a quick disclaimer before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so make sure you are careful with the money. Do not put the money in that you cannot afford to lose. All right, so let's move on. We'll start off with taking a look at our economic calendar. Big day today for the British pound. And so we have a bit of a confluence of different things coming together. We have talked a little bit about this US dollar. President Trump last week said that he thinks the US dollar is overpriced, it's way too expensive, and he wants to keep the interest rates low. And after that, we did see the US dollar drop, but then kind of came back up after we saw some good numbers come out. But since Friday, we have had negative number after negative number come out of the US. So we had on Friday retail sales, that type of stuff come out negative, and yesterday we had negative US data. Today, again, we had negative US housing starts. Housing starts are, excuse me, it's an important number. So it needs to be positive, and that will show that people are are willing to buy more houses, and there's a positivity in the economy. So with all these multiple numbers coming out negative since Friday, this has really hit the US dollar hard. And not only that, we also have British pound has been the benefiter of all of this. Euro was getting weighed down by the upcoming French elections. The closer we get to French elections, the more volatile euro can be. However, now what's going on is because there was uncertainty in the euro, British pound was benefiting from all of that. But today, Prime Minister Theresa May announced snap elections. So they're going to have in UK, they're going to have elections in June because she didn't have the majority to take the UK out of Eurozone. Now, that news has been received as very positive for the British pound, and as a result of that, today we saw British pound break all kinds of levels that we have not seen it break since Brexit. So at this point, British pound has been very positive, and that's why. So that's kind of the overarching, from fundamental perspective, what's going on. It has really created positive market sentiment for British pound. So now with new elections, the market is thinking that perhaps they will, in the UK, they will have MPs that will actually, they will not want hard Brexit. So this kind of softens the whole situation, and hopefully the Brexit will be a lot more watered down than it was expected to be before. So that's the scenario from a fundamental perspective. And as you can see, this is a very good example of how fundamentals drive the market. It's not the technicals that drive the market. Fundamentals, things going on in the market, news, that type of stuff drives the prices, but the prices will react to technical lines or technical areas. They react to technical levels, but it's the fundamentals that drive the price. So that's what's going on from the fundamental perspective. For our New Zealand here, that was another thing that was on the agenda here. Very positive number. Previous number was 1.6. That has doubled. For this time now, as a result, we saw New Zealand dollar get pushed up as well. Aussie was probably one of the few pairs that was down, and dollar CAD as well. So gold took a hit, and then we saw oil prices have taken a hit as well. Aussie took a hit because the Reserve Bank of Australia was dovish on Australian economy. So that's the overall overarching fundamental theme going on. So let's take a look for tomorrow. We have CPI number, which is the inflation number coming out for the Eurozone. Inflation numbers are always important. If you get really good, central banks want to keep the inflation at 2%. So right now it's at 1.5. So if you get a number that's more positive, that will be good for the euro. And then into the US session, not much data here. We just have crude oil inventories tomorrow. That will have an impact on oil as well as US dollar CAD. But other than that, not much for US at all. Going into the Asian session, we have inflation for New Zealand dollar here again, and that will have an impact on New Zealand dollar. But from news perspective, a very, very quiet day. When we have a quiet day like this, there are two possible scenarios that can happen. One is market just runs with the news from, so which will be today. So they will just run with the pre-existing news, which means the sentiment that comes into the market will just get pushed out even more. So which means maybe we can see pound dollar go up again. Other times what can happen is market takes a breather and then we may see pullback. So those are the two potential scenarios for today or for tomorrow, just based on what we have going on here in terms of our fundamentals. So let's go on to our charts here. We'll start off with the euro. The euro, we were looking for a positive day based on the yesterday's candle close, and we got that. It did go above what we had expected. A lot of positive momentum came into the market. We were looking for 10700 level. It went higher than that. So at this point, this is the support, and see how it went to the support and resistance exactly to the pin here, 107.40. So that's where it went to. Today, that was a very, very bullish close for the day. So tomorrow we are looking for another positive day here. In terms of our pullback, this could be a potential pullback level. So this is a 106.80 level based on the daily. So based on the daily, we are looking for a bullish move tomorrow. So if we'll take a look at the 1 hour chart, this is where our pivot point is 10700. 10700 is important support and resistance as well, just because it's the 700 levels. Those are important. So there are two potential levels for a pullback. One would be into the pivot here. Second will be into this support and resistance area here. So this is very much like what we were expecting with the pound yesterday. We could get a pullback into here and then a further move to the upside, or we could get a deeper pullback into this level and then a move to the upside. So those are two potential scenarios that we are looking for, or two pullback levels that we could be looking for, either 0700 pivot and then move to the upside. Another one is 106.80 level, which is this previous support and resistance level. So we'll watch out for that. So looking for a long at one of these levels here. Okay, moving on to British pound. This was the winner today. Very, very big move. Yesterday we were looking for, actually, sorry, let's go to the daily chart first. Okay, based on the daily here, we were looking for a move into 12700. So this is the area we were looking at, and I was expecting to see sellers come into the market, but after Prime Minister Theresa May talked about snap elections, the whole momentum of the market changed. Very, very positive market sentiment. And the next target that we had in mind was 127.80, this support and resistance level, which is a very good support and resistance level. But we saw this pair just take off. The market sentiment drove it 400 pips, approximately 400 pips to the upside. So very, very positive day at this point. This is the first time we have been at this level since Brexit, right? So this has been a long time coming. And now that we have broken to the upside, we are likely to continue on higher now. So this is very, very bullish. However, it is a very bullish move, which means we could see some pullbacks, but I would not stand in front of it because, as we saw today, there is market sentiment can be a very, very difficult thing to stand in front of. So yesterday we were looking at a potential pullback into this S1 level, and this is exactly where we got that pullback. And then from there on, price just took off, and there was a lot of stops run. to the upside here. So at this point, I am looking at potentially into this 127.80 level or the pivot level for a pullback. So those are the two potential levels. If we draw our fibs, if the market sentiment is very, very strong, we could get a very, very shallow pullback. But this 38.2 with the pivot point and support and resistance area, 2750 area, so that is important confluence coming together here. So this could be an important level. We could see a price move into this level here, pivot, and then another move to the upside, definitely challenging the highs. We're likely to see another test of the highs there, and then we may even break out to the upside, and we have confluence here 130 level, and then we have a 127% extension on our fib as well. So that's a good number. If we continue on higher, we're looking at 131.50 level. So that would be the next target. So let's go back to the daily chart because we are looking at some large numbers now. Here we go. So last time we had this type of reaction was right here. And as you can see, we had a pullback and then another move to the upside. So we could see something like this. So in that case, this 2750 level, this could be an important support and resistance level. So we may see a move like this. We could see a move like this and then all the way up to 130.50 here. It may not happen, all of it may not happen tomorrow. So just taking an example here. So we had this big push to the upside, then we had a pullback. So the next day was bearish, and then we have moved to the upside, and that move was approximately the same. If you look at the size, actually, let me just draw it out. So if we look at the size here, that was a big move, and we could see something like that. So this here, take a measured move concept here. So see how this move was the same size as the initial move. So we could see something like that come into play here as well. So we could see a pullback and then another move to the upside, which means now we are looking at some really, really big levels. So we could see a pullback here or even a deeper into 127, although I'm not sure if that will happen, but this type of move to the upside. So we're looking for a measured move to the upside. So keep that in mind. But for tomorrow, for the 19th, we have to be open to trading. We have to be open to a pullback because we could see a pullback and then a move to the upside. But in terms of our analysis, we are definitely bullish on this pair. So if that happens, if you do see a bit of a measured move like that, then look where that's going, right into the top there. So we've given back all the gains from the Brexit. So our market's given back all the losses from Brexit, I should say, in the British pound. So our final target is 131.20 on the British pound based on the market sentiment currently. This is the type of move we are looking for. So so we may not see this entire move tomorrow, but we could see something like this. So we see a bit of a pullback and then a move to the upside. So keep that in mind at this point, looking at further bullishness in British pound. Dollar CAD here, we had a bullish pin bar here. As a result, we were looking for a move to the upside, which we got. And now price is at So it went all the way to 134. At this point, based on the bullish pin bar, we're looking for a further move to the upside. See how price traded in the range, went all the way from there to here, and now we're going back all the way up. The next target here would be 134.50. So looking for that move to the upside based on the 1 hour chart. Here we are. We could see a pullback into the pivot level. Or even, yeah, so around this 133.50 level, we could see a pullback into this level right here, and then a further move to the upside. But oil has been coming down as a result. Dollar CAD was getting hit with that. Plus the central bank for Canada, Bank of Canada, was actually neutral in terms of the interest rate stance. They were not very bullish. As a result, this has been, Canadian dollar has been kind of been under fire as well. It's not as positive as British pound is, for example. So in this case, we'll just keep our levels here. 134.50 is the target for tomorrow. Looking at Aussie US dollar, again, central bank yesterday, RBA was not very bullish. They were, in fact, dovish in their rhetoric. So as a result, we saw a move to the downside. Now we have a bit of an interesting situation. Aussie is the only one that is moving down with the dollar CAD. Gold came down as well. So that was another thing to keep in mind. Aussie tends to move with gold. Gold today was it got pushed back up. Okay, so gold had come down here. It came to this support and resistance area, and we saw Aussie pulling back as well. So now it has moved back up, so to 1288. And Aussie has moved off of the lows here. So we'll keep an eye on both of these. Aussie and gold do tend to align properly. So here we are. This is the candle itself is bearish, but we do have a big wick on the downside, which gives it a bit of a neutral to bearish outlook on this. So in terms of the levels here, let's take a look at this level here. So we are likely to see the price come down to 75.28 level right here. I'm not expecting a huge bearish move, especially if the dollar market sentiment continues. Right now, we're seeing a lot of negative sentiment for the US dollar. If that continues, we're likely not going to see a big move to the downside. But based on the candle, I still think that we could get a move lower here. So this target, about even 75.20 area, is a good target for Aussie dollar here. So if you go on to the 1 hour chart, this is what happened here. Price did move up, and then based off of here, this is where we got the negative RBA came out, and as a result, we're moving lower. So at this point, if it stays below the pivot here, 75.60 area, this is an important support and resistance area here as well. If it stays below the pivot, we are likely to see it come back down into the 28-ish area that we have marked, which is also our S1 level. And at this level, we could see another pull to the, another push to the upside. So here we could see one of these scenarios. This is very similar to what we saw in British pound yesterday. Or if it breaks below the 75.25 area, we have this inefficiency that could get filled here as well. So those are the two scenarios, but overall it is bearish. It has a bearish sentiment towards it, but that may not continue much longer. So if you're trading Aussie, I would suggest caution. So I'm expecting it to come down to 75.20 and then potentially a move to the upside. New Zealand dollar here, dairy prices came in positive, and we saw the move to the upside. This is a very bullish candle. We closed at the very, very top of the candle here. As a result, we are looking for another move to the upside. This was the 70.43 area that we had marked yesterday on our charts. We are right at it now, and it looks like price is trying to break up higher. So the next target is still the 7100 level, right about here. Above that, the next target will be over here. So we have support and resistance here, here, here. So good level, 71.30. So we could see, we'll keep that as the second target. So at this point, New Zealand US dollar, we are looking for a bullish move. So here we are, price stayed at the pivot and then took off from there. In this case, we could see a pullback either into this level right here, or we could see pullback into pivot or S1. So we could see there are a couple of different levels that we may see the pullback at. So we are looking at one of these moves, or we could see a deeper pullback and then a move to the upside. But based on the daily close here, it looks bullish. So I would keep an eye out for a bullish move here. We will put this level here as a potential pullback level, which is the 170 level here as well. So it could come back all the way here and then take off to the upside. So those are all the common pairs that we look at. Anything else that you guys somebody would like me to go over? Just type it in the chat if you would like me to cover. Just another thing to point out here, all the pound crosses were crazy here. This was, I was looking at pound New Zealand here, 500 pip, 514, 515 pips. Big move to the upside. Euro, New Zealand, not so much, but all the pound crosses were like this. I was looking at pound Aussie here as well. Look at that pound Aussie. That's a huge move to the upside all in one day. 550 pips on the day. So huge move, something we haven't seen in a long, long time. Craziness in the market, very, very bullish sentiment towards the British pound. So I would say just be careful for that. Trading the British pound, I would not sell it at this point. Just wait for market to kind of get over the whole election scenario and stuff like that. But I think we may see further bullishness come into the British pound, especially with the announcement of elections again. And so more political risk in the market essentially at this point. Okay, so that's all I have. Any other questions before we call it a wrap? All right, if not, we will call it a wrap and I will see you guys in the trade room tomorrow. Have a good night.